Hey guys, and thank you for joining us. I'm Lauran Gieske from the Early Learning Center, and I'm a demonstration teacher for the older toddler classroom, 2 to 3 year olds. Here with me today is Samantha. Samantha, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello. Hi, I'm Samantha Deal. I am an infant toddler teacher at the Early Learning Center.
Awesome. Well, to say the least, everybody, they didn't put this in the parenting manual. They didn't really put it in the teacher manual either, though. So as I've been trying to reach out to some of my families over the past week and say, hey, how you doing? What can I do for you? Everyone has unanimously said, please help us get our children to play more independently. So we want to talk to you today about how to encourage and strengthen that independent play. And as we were getting ready for this conversation, Samantha kind of put it as passing on some of our teacher magic.
Right. Helping families find their own teacher magic that they can use at home with their children. So I guess it appears like it's magic to us when families ask us how we can keep our entire classroom of children engaged and focused. But actually it's not magic. We just make it look like it's magic because it's a whole lot of hard work and planning and intentionality that took years and years and years to cultivate and put into practice in a way that comes across as magic. But I think we can offer some insight into how that whole journey begins and what it really looks like for adults, building and setting a really great foundation for their children to just be able to openly engage with materials in a independent, productive, focused way.
Yes, right. So before we can really even get into what is this independent play, we talked about what does that foundation look like? Like, what do you need to know? How to get things even started? What have you got to be thinking about?
Right. So I think the very foundation for this shift in thinking about independent play with very young children is really coming to know and understanding and valuing children's capabilities and confidence in the work that they do, which is playing. And so I think that's like where to start.
This independent play thing. But what is independent play? Because it can be just a little bit misleading. And so if you're thinking, I want my child to play completely alone, so I can just completely focus on something else, well, it might not quite look like that. Independent doesn't always mean alone, but it does mean that children can play without your direct input constantly, that they can be the leaders of their own play and guide their own thinking and learning through that play and their own imagination. They can fully immerse themselves in that play and know that a trusted caregiver is nearby, and they can check in with from time to time, but they're still doing their own thing.
And so we want to help families figure out how to balance that. And so what that looks like is not necessarily just offering up materials that just say to a child, go be on your own. It doesn't, what we want to talk more about is figuring out that what the balance is between how to help children start to play and then how they can kind of move out of the picture for a little bit, and their child is feeling left to, or not their child is feeling left, but that their child feels confident continuing in the play that they were doing to begin with before mom or dad or caregiver scoots over to the side to get some work done.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean that they can't check in from time to time, but we're letting them take the lead and try to do this by themselves. But one thing we've touched on is how do we communicate that to the children? Because it's not just there are obviously some verbal cues like, hey, you know, you can go play now, but also maybe those nonverbal cues that we might be giving children. So how are we communicating to them that they're confident and capable?
Right. And I think too, like, um, beginning to utilize the cues consistently in a way that communicates those needs to children, that they can keep doing whatever it is that they're doing. Mom and dad are here. What you're doing is really great. But it's like a slow process. It's not, you just give these cues and they keep going. It's like, again, this isn't like a magic fix, but that you don't always have to physically engage or verbally engage with children while they're playing, so that they know that their caregiver sees them and hears them and they're getting acknowledgement. You can give lots of just nonverbal cues of making eye contact, giving a nod, a big smile if they get that puzzle piece in that they were really working hard on, or even just small, quick verbal cues of like, ooh, I see what you just did. Ah, you're doing it. Helps encourage them to continue to be persistent in their ability to solve the problems or continue their story building or the work that it is that they are engaging in. But just kind of always letting them know that you're there, you're paying attention, I'm in this with you, I'm connecting with you. And that can really be like one small smile and one glance and one head nod can mean so much to a child and can give them so much more confidence and time and moving forward with what they're doing. And so they just want to know that you're there, and if they need you, you're going to be there for them. So nonverbal cues will get you really far with that, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I want to touch on a few things you said there. So first, we kind of talked about this is not a magic fix. And it's going to be kind of gradual. If you're used to like always playing with your child, this is going to look a little different. And I think it really comes back to this piece that we've mentioned a little bit of letting the child lead the play. And what does that really look like? So you're going to have times that you've got some designated work over here, and so you're wanting your child to play a little more independently. But then obviously you're going to have some times that hopefully you've planned to come together and play. But really, the transformation is going to have to start there. A lot of us feel like when we're playing with our children, we need to constantly be saying something, or like, oh, okay, you've got this piece over here, and I'll take this piece over here, and then, oh, maybe we can pretend they're going to the store. But if we're going to believe that children are capable and confident, which is so important, like we've mentioned, we have to believe that they're capable of playing in their own way. And we don't have to always give them those big suggestions or big ideas, like things like that. I really like to think of it as let the children drive and you're kind of in the back seat. You're just along for the ride. Or maybe you're an actor in the production and you're there with them. You've got some toys, but they're directing. They're telling you what to do, and you're just there with them in their play. And that kind of brings a little bit of this attention dance that I feel like we've been talking about, especially during this time. There's all sorts of info out there like, just put your phone down, just be with your child. That is way easier said than done. And so while you do want to do your best to have some time to connect like that, Samantha, I know you're also an expert at connecting during those routine moments and just creating those moments. So what does that kind of look like for you?
Well, I think they're making sure that there's always balance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm balancing some really close contact, connectedness with a child with being able to kind of move away from them and let them explore on their own. So I like to take advantages of times when we are together, when they actually need me for something, like getting their diaper changed, like getting a bottle, during meal times. I would say during like bath time, bedtime, those really important routines throughout the day. And so if you really invest in those moments, and those are the times where you really just slow down and you're fully present with your child, and you're really filling up the meaningful time bank that you have with your child, that will also give you a little bit more independence later on in another part of the day, where you do need to step away to put something up or answer a call or an email, and you have really kind of bought yourself that time by investing in it in other parts of the day.
Yeah, exactly. So when you are investing in those other parts of the day, it opens that opens up that time for them to play independently. But one thing we've touched on a little bit, but I want us to remember, is that when you are getting them, hoping that they'll play a little more independently, you've also got to have a space that is safe and inviting, so you're not constantly having to jump in. So
Right.
if it's for younger children, that might mean like a little bit of a gate or a play space like that, or just in a safe playroom that is set up with those open-ended materials that are ready to go. But if you're constantly having to jump in to stop your child from bumping their head or getting close to that electric cord, you're really interrupting their play, which is the last thing we want to do. If they're playing independently, you want to let them go.
Right. And you can convey lots of messages with the materials that you offer children, the space that you're bringing a child into, but also the way you present the materials to the child. Mm-hmm. So you can set things up that have familiar toys with maybe something new and novel that's like very interesting to them, and arranged in a way that gives them a multitude of ways to use those materials and engage with those materials and extend some of their play ideas. And so that will really support them engaging in that child-led independent play for sure. Just knowing that play is the work of children, like that's the important work. And with the situation that we are in now, those are the times that children feel really confident, that they feel really secure in being able to play with their materials and go and explore their world. And so we want to make sure that we're giving and affording children many, many opportunities to do that throughout the day. And that is the important work of childhood in general. And so the more we can foster that and encourage that and support it, the more we're actually like showing our children how much we really do care about them, and we value them and where they are in their lives in this moment in time, and that developmentally this is where they are, and so we're here to help and support that. And that, this whole idea of children engaging in lots of independent play it's hard. It's not something that comes really easily and naturally sometimes, and making sure that we're not really looking for something that's like a quick magic fix is very important, and that we can all do this. We can all figure out what works best for us and our child and our family. We just need some encouragement and some positivity pushed our way, but that it can happen for sure. Just, ease into it and figure it out. All children are different. It's going to look very different for all children. All families are different, and make sure it's very individualized and custom to to you and your child and your family, and what is the best and most supportive thing for them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, and there's no little magic switch. But when we're thinking of children as capable and confident and are ready to just kind of be with them and let them take the lead and do what works for us and our family, yeah, I think we can get there. We can all get through this together.
Absolutely.
All
For
right.
sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. I think that's all we have for you today. Hopefully, you found a little something that can help you and encourage you and help your child go play.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lauran.